Well, I apologise, it's been 2 weeks since I last did one of these video recordings, but it's been a fairly hectic 2 weeks. Now, usually when we have a parliamentary recess, it's an opportunity to have a week in the constituency. But because of the parliamentary arithmetic, as you are probably aware, we do not have a majority, and are dependent upon the support of the DUP in key budget votes. It's very difficult to have time off to do your ministerial work in terms of undertaking visits. So my recess week saw me visiting Berlin, visiting Oslo, and also visiting Paris in the context of my work as a defence minister. And I think it was fascinating because in Berlin, for example, there was a clear message, which was that Germany saw a significant need to carry on working closely with the United Kingdom on defence and security issues. And that was the same message that I received in Paris. So sometimes when you read about the problems that we face in a post-Brexit world, I think it is important to note that in many ways our European partners do see a hugely important role for the United Kingdom to play and to continue to play in terms of defence and security. And fascinatingly, when I went to Oslo, and clearly Norway are not in the European Union, they were also of the view that in order to ensure that the European Union remained in a good place from a security and defence perspective, they also felt that it was important that we had a very constructive engagement moving forward. So I think that those visits were both very interesting from my point of view, but also very informative of what is happening behind the headlines. When people talk about the doom and gloom of Brexit, I think they are ignoring some of the real discussions which are taking place between governments. And I think certainly I took a bit of confidence from those visits moving forward. In effect, very clearly we are saying, yes, we are leaving the European Union, but we're certainly not turning our backs on Europe. And I got the distinct impression that Europe doesn't want us to turn our back on them either. So I came away feeling fairly constructive and positive about the whole thing. I then did manage to get back to my constituency, where I spent 2 days in the office. I had a very busy surgery with plenty of work coming through the door. And in addition, I had a very useful meeting with the Chief Executive and the leader of Conwy Council, where we discussed a number of things, not least the real concern within Conwy Council about the funding formula which the Welsh Government has in place, which definitely penalises rural authorities in Wales. There will be a decision made soon on council tax increases in Conwy, and clearly as a low tax Conservative I don't want to see council tax increasing. However, I think it is fair to say that for the Welsh Government to classify Conwy as an urban district is a nonsense. You simply have to look at this constituency to understand that it is a very rural constituency in many ways. A significant percentage of the population of the county of Conwy lives to the north of the A55, but the vast majority of the landmass is to the south. And yet in the south of Conwy we do need to provide schools, we need to provide roads, we need to provide public services, we need to ensure that the services provided in the rural areas are the same or as good as the services that we provide in the urban area. And yet the Welsh Government, with their funding formula, penalises Conwy because it does not take into account the challenges of looking after a rural area. And when you hear about these alleged cuts which are being made and the finger pointing towards Westminster, I think you need to realise that the formula which results in Cardiff, a Labour-controlled council in South Wales, getting an increase in money from the Welsh Government, but Conwy getting the second worst settlement from Welsh Government. You need to understand where the finger of blame should be pointing. Not locally at councillors in Conwy, not nationally at Westminster. It should be pointed directly at the Labour Party, which have a formula in place which benefits Labour voting areas in South Wales. And I challenge the local Labour Party, if you care about this part of the world, talk about that formula. Challenge that formula. Say to Carwyn Jones, your leader, that formula is not acceptable. So that's the message about council tax. This week, it's been another busy MOD week, it has to be said. I had the privilege of addressing a significant portion of the up-and-coming officers of the French military, which was a challenge to say the least. I did say to them that I looked forward to ensuring that Wales continued to have a better head-to-head record in games against France, which didn't go down particularly well, but I think they did appreciate the fact that we had scored a try against England. That at least generated a laugh in the room. But in addition, on the same day, which was last Tuesday, I also chaired a meeting of the Defence Equipment and Support Organisation, an organisation where I am responsible for chairing meetings on a quarterly basis, ensuring that the support that they offer the Ministry of Defence is exactly what our forces need. And it was a very positive and constructive meeting, and again shows the commitment of people involved in the defence sphere in terms of their commitments to ensure that our armed forces get the support that they need. I then went to Plymouth on Thursday to see the Navy in action, and I have to say, as somebody who's scared of heights, flying in a helicopter onto the back of a frigate is undoubtedly a nerve-wracking experience, but very enjoyable as well. And then today I'm back in the constituency, and one of the issues that has come to my attention today in the constituency is first of all, the reduction in the number of care home places in the Conwy Valley, and as a result, a reduction in the number of care home places which are offered through the medium of Welsh. That's a significant concern in this part of the world, but also the increasing care home fees being charged for a number of reasons. And I'm increasingly of the view that this is an area that I need to look at further. Yes, to a very large extent care home fees are a devolved issue, but I think here in Conwy, in Upper Conwy, the nature of A, the age profile of the constituency, and B, the linguistic profile of our constituency means that some of the issues raised with me today at my surgery does make me slightly concerned as to the future, and I think this is an area that I will be coming back to on in due course, because we do need to make sure that we look after all people who are in need of care, that we look after them in their communities preferably, and undoubtedly we do that through the language of their choice. So that's a quick overview of my past 2 weeks. It's been fascinating, a mixture of local politics and the MOD, and I will report back in due course, hopefully within the week, but maybe within 2 weeks, depending on how busy I am. Thank you.